Hello, my name is Eric Mason, and I serve here in North Philly at Epiphany Fellowship. I'm doing this video because of some population that I get to pastor, and one of those populations are people that have dealt with the issues of molestation. I get to deal with people from all walks of life, different ethnicities, at our church and in our community and in the world who have dealt with very, very difficult issues, and rape and molestation is one of those things. And I have been put in a place where I have the same, I guess, testimony, you call it, where I experienced that as a young man. It was only once, but it was a challenge for me because I didn't remember it. I didn't remember it until I was an adult. And as an adult, I began to deal with it. And the way that I dealt with it really was through something called the Gospel of Jesus Christ. And the Gospel of Jesus Christ helped me to deal with all the issues that had to do with that incident that happened to me, and was able to grow through it and develop through it and forgive the person that committed that act upon me. And so I just pray for and have a big heart for people who have dealt with the same issue of being violated by someone while you were a child. And so the hope is that this will be some sort of help to anyone who's dealt with this, that for me, and I think for everybody, that God can bring anybody through anything, and He brought me through that. And so it's worked for me to be able to help others who have dealt with it, just to talk with them about it, to come out, to actually go to counseling, and to begin to process through it, because you can't put your past behind you. In that way, you have to deal with your past, and as you deal with your past, it can deeply impact your future. It's a good book out called Emotionally Healthy Spirituality, and it's called How the Gospel Transform Our Emotions. And he talks about in the book a whole lot about dealing with our past. He says, because people who are emotionally unhealthy are those who underestimate the impact of the past on the present. And so that's a good principle to help kind of work through. Man, let me go back, let me deal with this issue so that I can have a greater, stronger emotional foundation, so that in every area of my life, even the spiritual area of my life, I can grow and develop, and not be in bitterness or unforgiveness. Because the Bible talks a lot about forgiving others, and no matter how traumatic anything was to us, what's good about learning about even Jesus Christ is that Jesus Christ was deeply violated on the cross, and because of his, and even in being violated on the cross, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And that may sound almost like patronizing, but in that I found great comfort for forgiveness. Because the more, if you stew in bitterness and you stew in unforgiveness, the Bible says the root of bitterness sprouting up, it defiles many. And so your life will be centered on your bitterness towards the person that violated you, versus dealing with the issue, forgiving the person. And that doesn't mean that you have to build a relationship with that person if they're still living, but it does mean that you need to confront your reaction to what happened to you and find grace and forgiveness for them, so that you can grow and you can release them from the shackles of your bitterness, and you can be released from it as well. God bless you and take care.